Getting your period.
Like the first time I had it, it was, whoa, I didn't know what it was. I just looked down and I'm like, what is it? What is it? Then I run out of the bathroom. I go, Mika, look down. She starts going, she goes, my sister got a period. She goes and runs, calls my mother, and my mother tells everybody at work. And I was
So they were real excited about it, though. But, you know, when a girl gets her period, that's one of the first stages that she starts to go through in terms of becoming a woman. So it can be very exciting.
Why does a woman need her period?
Oh, why does a woman need to have her period? A woman's inside of her body is very special. Even before she's born, that baby girl's ovaries are already set up to release 400 tiny eggs over the course of her lifetime. Pretty phenomenal, huh? At puberty, the first of these eggs ripens. The ovaries start releasing one egg about once a month. When the egg leaves the ovary, it travels into one of two tiny tubes here. This is an actual egg traveling inside the tube. Here we're seeing it through a microscope. The egg is smaller than a grain of sand. If the egg is joined by a man's sperm, the egg is fertilized. Meanwhile, the uterus has begun to prepare itself by building up a soft lining of tissue. The fertilized egg then travels on to the uterus, where it attaches itself to the soft lining that is formed there. The lining is rich with nutrients that feed the tiny fertilized egg, so that it can begin to grow into a baby. But if the egg has not been fertilized by a man's sperm, it just leaves the body. You most likely won't see it because it's so tiny and transparent. About 2 weeks later, that soft lining, which is no longer needed, slowly flows out of the body from the uterus, past the cervix and through the vagina. This flow looks like blood, but it's mostly body tissue. This process is called menstruation, or having your period. During each month of what is called a woman's cycle, the lining grows again. An egg is released, and most likely the lining is shed in a new period. Even though a period usually lasts somewhere between 3 to 7 days, the amount of tissue is actually quite small. To absorb it, there are two choices. There are pads, which are worn outside the body and fit in your underwear. There are tampons, which fit inside the vagina.
How much blood will there be when you get your period?
It seems like a lot of blood, especially to a girl who's first started to get her period. It feels like it's just going to come out forever. But actually, it's just a little bit of blood because a woman's uterus is about the size of her closed fist. And the blood is the inside on the inside of that uterus. So that's all that comes out. But it comes out very slowly. So it seems like it takes a long time, but it's very little blood.
When you have your period and you go to the bathroom, what do you see on the tissue, thick red clumps?
Okay. It seems like it's blood by itself that comes out, but it really isn't. That lining that forms in the uterus is a special lining of tissue that has blood in it. So when your period does come out, there will be little lumps of that tissue mixed in with the blood, and that's what you see there.
Discharge. I had it like a couple of times, but I didn't know what it was. I just wanted to know, like, what is it really? What is discharge really for?
What is it for?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that your vagina is one of the cleanest places on your whole body? And that it washes itself out all the time, continuously. And that's why women have discharges. You might find some in your underwear at the end of the day. That's the vagina's way of cleaning itself out naturally. The walls of a woman's vagina have special pores in them, and these pores secrete fluid all the time. And this fluid covers and coats the walls of the vagina, and as it comes down, it picks up any waste that needs to come out of it. So when she has her discharge, that's her body's way of cleaning out the vagina. A discharge is different from a period. It happens every day to some degree.
Yes. How about if you never get your period?
Okay. That's very, very, very rare, Pam. Most women do get their periods, but some girls may not get it until they're 17 or 18 or maybe even 19, whereas some girls get it at 8 or 9. But typically, girls start to get their periods somewhere between 11 and 13.
How do you know when you're going to get your period?
How do you first know? Oh, that's a tough question. It's very hard for a young woman to know when she's going to have her first period. There are some signs, but we all go through these changes in different orders. So some girls might start to grow their breasts, so they know it'll be happening soon. Some girls might start to feel or hear their voices change, or they start to get taller, or their hips start to get a little wider. Then they know that it might happen. Some girls start to have cramping sensation a couple of weeks before they have their first period. So she's paying real close attention to her body. She may be able to get a feel for when it's going to happen, but most girls never know. It kind of catches them by surprise. Does anybody feel scared about getting their period or nervous?
Me.
Yeah? How so, Shanti?
Because if you get your period, like one time my teacher did, a teacher that I had, and she had a period and it fell all down in her pants.
It leaked through.
Yeah, and you just feel embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
That can be
People make fun
real
of you.
embarrassing.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're a
Well, once a girl gets her period, can she kind of keep an eye on things and know about the time she's going to get it? Yeah. So you just have to be prepared. Keep it on your calendar so you know when that week is coming. What else can you do to be prepared if it comes? You can keep a pad, a sanitary napkin in your purse or in your locker or your book bag to make sure that if you get caught and you're away from home, then you can still take care of it. No problem.
Could we hear some of this again?
We're going to talk a little bit too about
Yeah, good idea. Puberty, instant replay.
Remember, this is the penis, and this is the scrotum, the sac that holds the two testicles.
The testicles, that's where the sperm are made.
Boys have erections. That's when the penis becomes larger and stiffer. During puberty, a boy can also have an ejaculation. You may have heard some people call that coming. That's when a small amount of whitish liquid comes out the tip of the penis.
That's the semen. It contains sperm.
Remember, the vagina is a passageway inside the body. On the outside, you can see the vulva. And this small part of the vulva is called the clitoris.
The whole outside area is called the vulva. I never knew that.
During puberty, a girl starts to get her period.
Every month, a woman's body makes a special lining where a fertilized egg could start to grow. Kind of like a cushion. I get it. If she doesn't become pregnant, the lining isn't needed, and the stuff it's made of just leaves her body. That's her period.
Masturbation is when a boy or girl touches the private parts of his or her own body, including their genitals, for sexual feelings.
If you think we have questions, so do our parents. Listen to some of the questions they have.